Hi guys, and welcome back to Full Stop Reviews, your one-stop shop for all things movies. And today I'm going to be talking about one of the new A24 films, The Green Knight. So The Green Knight is directed by David Lowery and stars Dev Patel as Sir Gawain. Well, in this version he's not a knight just yet, but it's based off of the eponymous legend from the stories of King Arthur. Coming into this movie, I was told that it wouldn't be a typical medieval sweeping epic, and I made a point to try to familiarize myself with the legends because I really wasn't all that familiar with the Arthurian legends going into this. You know, I'd seen The Sword and the Stone, I knew the broad strokes of some of this stuff, but for the most part, some of my first exposure to any of the Arthurian canon was Monty Python.
That is why I'm your king.
Listen, strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government.
And so it stars Dev Patel as Sir Gawain as he takes up the Green Knight's challenge, where he has to deliver a blow and then return in a year and then receive the same blow that he gave the Green Knight. Now, personally, I don't know why he decided a killing blow would be the good idea when the rules of the game were very specifically stated. But this film is more metaphorical than it is literal, and so is the legend. Now, this film diverts pretty significantly at points from how the legend goes. Like, the same broad strokes are there, so when he comes to the Lord's castle and is tempted by the lady there, for example, but you don't really see anything between him arriving at the Lord's castle and leaving Camelot. And so there's a lot in that section that gets expanded upon. And this film is kind of told as if it were a legend. There's chapter markers and there's fun titles in between each chapters. And so you're never quite sure if what you're seeing is literal or if it's even supposed to be taken that way. And there's a lot that this film leaves ambiguous. And I think that was one of the turnoffs for people about this film is just the ambiguity. The ending itself is incredibly ambiguous, and while I won't spoil it, I will say that there were other endings shot and then removed because the director wanted a certain intent to be conveyed. But I'm also probably going to invoke death of the author and think that it's for the better that those endings weren't put in there for a couple of reasons that I can't get into unless I'm talking the spoilers video. And so this film is kind of a coming-of-age story. So as opposed to just being this giant sweeping epic, it's about a journey and like Lord of the Rings style battles. It's more just about a series of decisions that the main character has to make and is faced with. And it's usually pretty small-scale stuff in the grand scheme of things. So you run into a traveler on the road who needs help. What do? You see an animal following you. What do you do? If you're really a knight, should you be doing this stuff for rewards? Why do you want to be a knight? Just things like that. So this film is more coming-of-age story than it is giant epic. And that's one of the things I really, really appreciated. And so while the cinematography, which is fantastic, by the way, is enormous in scope, and it's this fairy tale in this far-off place in a time long ago, the story is just as someone growing up. And there's a lot that I really, really appreciate about this. It's a very, very relatable story. And there's some amazing quotes in here and just great ideas. So, for example, Gawain wants to be this great knight. But the quest he's going on is essentially to allow his own head to get cut off. And in any other context, that would be a ridiculous, stupid, suicidal quest to go on. And his lover, Essel, even played by Alicia Vikander, also points this out to him by saying, why is goodness not enough? Why does it have to be greatness? And he doesn't have an answer, at least not a good one, and not one that he seems to believe. And so he is kind of figuring out who he is along the way. And so this film has a lot of ideas. What do you do when you only have a limited amount of time left to you? What is the price of immortality? What is the price of honor? What is the price of dishonor? And so these are and a lot of the times the scenarios that he encounters are small enough in scale but it's small enough in scale, but still impactful. It's a really, really great contrast because it's just about the decisions and the consequences that come from those decisions. And I really, really appreciate it about this film. Now, this film is shot in some really, really surrealistic styles. So there's ghosts that might not be ghosts. Like, he gets robbed at one point, but sees most of the stuff that he lost returned to him, and you're never told how or why. You see actors playing multiple characters. He's even told that the Green Knight is a someone he actually knows. And if you're familiar with the original legend, you know what the answer to that is, but the film doesn't even go there. And so there's so much that just gets left unanswered, and that you kind of have to put the pieces together yourself. And while I like that, it's you're walking out of the theater and you're not quite sure what to think. I'm doing this review almost a week after having seen the movie because I just needed that much time to process it. I want to talk about Dev Patel for a few minutes because his performance was fantastic. It's very naturalistic, it's grounded, it's realistic, and that is something that is desperately needed because the presentation of this film is so weird and bizarre and surreal that having someone give a grounded performance like that is kind of what you as the audience need to latch onto to be guided through this very strange tale. I thought he did an amazing job, and I would really love to see his name in the Oscar list later in the year. Let's see who else does what, but, David Lowery's direction is really, really great. This is a very, very well-crafted film, from the cinematography to the color schemes to the music is period era authentic, and it's really, really cool how they make music from that era feel just like sinister and threatening at points, but sweet and caressing in others. And so there's very little I didn't like about this film. Now, I don't know that I loved this film, but I thought it was really, really well presented and really, really well put together. And while I understand that the way that this ends and some of the ambiguity surrounding this film and the way they changed some of the original legend will be a turnoff to others, for me, it's a green light for the Green Knight. Say that 10 times fast. Hey guys, thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you like what I have to say, I have plenty of other reviews to go over, some modern stuff and some not. And if you want to see me debating about movies with some friends of mine, check out the Return of the Movie podcast, available on Spotify, Apple, and basically anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Also, my friends and I are sadists. We like to make each other watch bad movies for the first time, film it, and put it on the internet. It's called First Timers. It's a really fun thing to do because I chose one of the worst movies of all time, and they're not going to beat me on this. And as always, it's full stop.